Kendra Michaels looked at the sea of faces in front of her. She was in the general purpose room at the Pacific Villas senior living community, where she'd set up her synth keyboard in front of a dozen residents afflicted with profound dementia. She'd greeted each of them as they were brought in, but the audience members were not even remotely responsive to her, or, as far as she could tell, any outside stimuli. "You want to hear some music?" She smiled at the group. No reaction. She smiled again. "I'll take that as a yes." She began playing Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons, December 1963, on her keyboard. Aside from rhythmic swaying from a few staff members, there was still zero reaction from the crowd. Kendra wasn't surprised. She was a music therapist with a successful practice in San Diego, and she'd seen the same response, or lack thereof, literally thousands of times. Much of her academic research focused on the ability of music to reach and help certain patients form connections with the outside world. She'd had greater success with younger subjects, particularly autistic children, but she had recently begun a promising study involving elderly patients in advanced stages of dementia. Unfortunately, none of the seniors in front of her were exhibiting any positive signs of... Wait. In the second row, a woman in a floral sweater began to bob her head in time with the music. "Don't get too excited," Kendra told herself. The woman might just be drifting off to sleep. No, she was listening and feeling it. The woman's eyes opened wider. And was that a smile? Kendra smiled back and raised the keyboard's volume. Staff members smiled and gestured toward the woman, obviously surprised and pleased at her engagement. But her attention faded after a couple of minutes, and despite Kendra's best efforts to re-engage with her, the woman never responded to the 20 minutes of music that followed. Kendra concluded her mini-concert, and the staff began the process of moving the residents away from the area. Bill Dillingham stepped toward her. He was in his late 80s, and he looked elegant with his stylish slacks, well-coiffed hair, and neatly trimmed silver mustache.
"Tough crowd."
She hugged him. "Good to see you, Bill. Just so you know, I wasn't here to entertain them." He chuckled.
"That was painfully obvious."
"You know why I'm here, and I appreciate your helping arrange it."
"It was my pleasure, Kendra. You seemed to be reaching Sophie for a minute there."
"The woman in the floral print sweater? You know her?"
"No, I can't say I do. As you can imagine, our dementia residents keep pretty much to themselves. They live in a different building from the rest of us. But an orderly told me that he hasn't seen her so responsive to anything since she's been here."
Kendra unplugged her keyboard and wrapped the power cord around a spindle. "That's nice to hear. I'd like to do some follow-ups with her. I'll speak with her family about it."
"I'm sure they'll be glad to hear from you."
"Hard to say. If a patient is here in that wing, the family has probably already given up hope that they can improve. With good reason, most likely. But even if I can't help them, they can help add to the body of research that my colleagues and I can use to help others. That may not be good enough reason for them. I spend a lot of my time with this, believe me."
"I believe you."
Kendra smiled as Bill greeted several others as they walked past. He was obviously one of the institution's most popular residents, which didn't surprise her a bit. He was a gregarious, charming man who liked to tell stories from his colorful career as a sketch artist with the San Diego Police Department. But he was also a wonderful listener, a major reason he'd been so good at his job. She slid her keyboard into its long vinyl sleeve. "How about I take you to lunch, Bill? I know a good restaurant near here."
"Sounds fun. But there's something I need to talk to you about first."
"Sure."
"You're not gonna like it."
She put down her keyboard and turned toward him. "Well, that sounds ominous."
"It isn't. Not really. I just know how you feel about investigative work."
"Oh, no."
"Sorry, kid. You have a gift, so you shouldn't be surprised when people ask you to use it."
"A gift. Sometimes it feels more like a curse."
"You don't mean that."
"Don't I?" He nodded.
"I know you better than that, my dear. Think of all the people you've helped." And I'm not talking about the police departments and the FBI. I'm talking about the lives you've saved."
A voice came from behind Kendra. "He's right, isn't he?" She turned to see a woman in her mid-60s stepping toward her. She extended her hand to Kendra. "Detective Paula Chase, San Diego PD, retired. It's a pleasure to meet you, Kendra."